Have you ever felt left out? Perhaps you weren't chosen to be on a team during a game because you're not a fast runner. Maybe you are not able to eat cake at a friend's birthday party because you have food allergies. Perhaps no one plays with you at recess and you feel lonely. It hurts to be left out, doesn't it? Can you imagine what it would feel like to be left out of everything? There was a man we read about in the Bible who may have felt that way. This man lived in an area of Israel called Samaria. The people living in Samaria are called Samaritans. Each time I say Samaritan, hold your hands out like you are trying to keep someone away from you. I'm also going to say it in a hissing way to remind you to hold out your hands, but also because the Jews treated the Samaritans this way. They had been enemies for hundreds of years. Jews would even take the long way around Samaria to avoid the Samaritans. They thought God didn't care about the Samaritans. Many Jews thought they were the only ones God had a plan for. They didn't understand how powerful God's love is. Anyone who wasn't a Jew was usually treated badly, especially Samaritans. Life as a Samaritan was not easy. But then it got even worse for this man. Parts of his skin began to look strange. He had a horrible skin disease. He wanted to get rid of it. Perhaps he washed it and scrubbed it with soap. He probably tried bandaging it and putting medicine on it. Maybe he even went to a doctor for help. He hoped it would get better, but it didn't. It only got worse. He realized he had a horrible disease called leprosy. Can you say that with me? Leprosy. People with leprosy were called lepers. Because leprosy was contagious, lepers would be left out of everything. The law said lepers could not live with other people. They had to leave their homes and families. Whenever other people came near, they had to shout out, "Unclean, unclean." This would warn others to stay away. Shout that with me. Unclean, unclean. Unclean, unclean. Many people with leprosy never got better. The disease just got worse and worse until they died. The Samaritan man must have felt hopeless. He couldn't do anything to save himself from his terrible problem. Did you know you also have a terrible problem you can't get rid of on your own? It's not a sickness or disease. It's a problem all people are born with. God calls it sin. Sin is going against God. Being mean to other people, cheating in school, and talking rudely to others are just a few ways we go against God. Sin is your worst problem because it causes separation from God forever in a place of terrible punishment. Isaiah 59:2 says, "Your iniquities, or sins, have made a separation between you and your God." God wants to warn you that your sin will separate you from His friendship forever. You can't do anything to take care of your sin problem on your own. That sounds pretty hopeless. What a terrible problem.